I've never done a Zoom class before, so this is different.
You've never been in an online class before?
No.
Oh, okay. So you'll get used to it. Once you get used to the Canvas, environment, then this becomes very easy to use. Have you both gotten used to the Canvas environment, the classroom so
Yes.
far?
I've done Canvas before, so I kind of had a little bit of knowledge beforehand.
Oh, okay. So, somebody else is coming in. Good afternoon, Kelly. How are you doing?
I found you. I'm good.
Well, I'm glad that we're all here. Do you have any questions about the class so far before I start the a lesson? No?
Well, today there's no forum discussion due, correct?
Correct. The forums are, for this class, the forums are every other week. So it's every odd number, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So you can remember it that way. If it's an odd number, then that's when you have a forum. And then on the weeks when there isn't any forum, you can maintain your attendance by turning in the assignment. So once you turn in the assignment, that's the attendance for the week. So a lot of people were confused about that. And you got to make sure that you turn in your assignment by Sunday midnight. So that way you get credit for having been in class this week. And anybody have any questions about the outline and how to do the worksheet?
All the questions.
You'll have questions. Okay, so we could do the questions. Either we do it right now before the lesson or after the lesson. It's up to you guys.
After is fine.
After. Okay, so I will now go over the week 3 quiz. That would be this one. And here we go. And so the week 3 quiz, we're going to go over the week 3 quiz prep. We're going to do the week 3 forum prep, that is for next week. And then we're going to go over our outline, the week 2 assignment. So I'm going to briefly go over what is a narrative essay. So apparently I'm doing this while you still have energy. So a narrative essay is a story about your life. You tell a story from your life that teaches a life lesson. And so the most common topic is I became a nurse. So that's the thesis statement, because reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. And then reason 1 becomes paragraph 2, reason 2 becomes paragraph 3, and reason 3 becomes paragraph 4. When you have a thesis statement with matching body paragraphs, this is called the 5-paragraph essay structure. And then I will talk more about narrative essays after I go over the week 3 quiz. Then in the week 3 forum, we're going to play a food game in which you're going to say, let's see, I am tossed high up in the air. I am made of flour and dough. Domino's and Papa John's are many different brands of me. People put tomato sauce, cheese, anchovies, and even pineapple on me. What am I? Okay, so that's what you're going to post as your first post. In other words, you're going to describe a food that everybody else has to guess what your food is. Then when you post it to students, you're like, are you a pizza? No. Are you a hot dog? And if somebody guesses correctly that, yes, it's a pizza, you did it right. And the whole point of the week 3 forum is simply to review descriptive language, where you have to appeal to all 5 senses in order to write good descriptive language. That's the whole purpose of the food game. So that's your week 3 forum. And now we're going to go over, and this is something I made up. People put tomato sauce, cheese on me. I am thin and round. I am made of bread dough. I am delicious to eat. I come from Italy. The cooks toss me. They sell a lot of me in this store. Brooklyn's original blank. What am I? So you don't have to make this kind of picture, but you're going to write a first post due on Wednesday of week 3. So this is actually a very fun game that students love this forum more than all the others. So you'll enjoy that. So that covers week 3. And I will go over more of everything later. So let's go over the week 3 quiz. So in the week 3 quiz, we're going to talk about adjective versus adverb. So an adjective usually comes before the noun in English. And so an adjective is like a red car. It modifies a noun, describes a noun. A noun is a person, place, or thing. a verb is an action or a state, like I ran, he talked, she whatever. So an adverb modifies a verb, and words ending in ly are all adverbs. So if I say he talks slowly, she drives carefully, so the ly words are all adverbs because an adverb carefully modifies the verb drive. In other words, how is she driving? She's driving carefully. So that is an adverb. John rode his horse slowly. And so the adverb slowly modifies how he rode his horse. It modifies the verb rode. Rodney drove his car too rapidly. And so rapidly is an adverb that modifies drive. Adverbs can be anywhere in the sentence. Rapidly, Rodney drove his car. Rodney rapidly drove his car. Rodney drove his car rapidly. So far, so good. So, Lori, what is an adjective? Can you give me an example of an adjective? You have to unmute yourself.
Blue.
Blue, yes, a blue car. And Sarah, what is an example of a proper noun?
Me, Sarah.
Sarah, good. And what is an example of a verb? Kelly?
Sewing.
Sewing. Okay, so welcome Samuel to this class.
Hi.
So you just missed this part of it. So anybody want to, in 1 minute, summarize what all of this is? Lori? What did we just...
It's the parts of speech.
Yes, we just went over the parts of speech: adjective, noun, verb, and adverb. Okay, so so an adjective modifies a noun and comes before the noun. However, sometimes the only time that an adjective comes after the noun is when you have a subject plus the be verb plus adjective. So when you have that construction in a simple sentence, then the adjective can come after the noun. So if I say Robert is handsome, then handsome modifies the noun Robert, but it comes after the noun Robert. So only in that case does the adjective come after the noun in English. But normally in English, the adjective comes before the noun. Blue car, red sweater, smart students. So I have a whole bunch of smart students here today. But if you speak Spanish or French or Italian, then the adjective comes after the noun. So you would say a house red. How many of you speak Spanish here?
Me?
Yeah, can you give me an example of a in Spanish where you have an adjective and a noun?
Carro azul.
What is that? Blue car?
Yeah.
Okay, so he just said a car blue. And so here you would say John is a slow rider. So slow is an adjective that comes before rider. Rodney is a fast driver. Fast is an adjective that modifies driver. Adjectives can come, I just did this. Rodney is smart. Clark is tall. And so smart is an adjective that modifies Rodney and it comes after the noun. Same thing with Clark. And so here, the handsome, handsomely man dresses handsomely in a fancy suit. So the first one, who wants to try that one? Is it handsome or handsomely?
Handsome?
Handsome. Why is it handsome and not handsomely?
Yes.
Kelly, why is it handsome and not handsomely? Why did he get it correct?
Because it's a verb and not an adverb? Is that right?
It's not an adverb. Okay, you got that part right, but it's not a verb. Well,
It's an
Sarah,
adjective.
it's an adjective, yes. So it comes before, when you have an adjective, the adjective comes before the noun, and therefore it is an adjective. The man dresses handsomely in a fancy suit. Is it handsome or handsomely? Anybody?
Handsomely.
Handsomely, because here handsomely talks about how he dresses. In other words, it's an adverb, and plus as soon as you see the word ly, you know that it's an adverb. So the handsome man dresses handsomely in a fancy suit. And so I was paid handsome or handsomely for my job.
Handsomely?
Handsomely, because here it talks about how you were paid. Therefore, if it modifies the verb, then it's the adverb. Robert snored loudly. Is loudly an adjective or adverb? Sarah.
It's an adverb because
Yes, go ahead.
Handsome.
because it's modifying the verb.
Snoring. Yes.
Yeah.
And in real life, the Robert I'm talking about, you can hear him from the living room snoring. Yes. So it's an actual person. So everybody understand the parts of speech before I go on to object and subject pronouns? Okay. So a pronoun is a noun that replaces another noun. In other words, John is snoring. He is loud. And so when I replace a Robert or John with he, then he is the pronoun that replaces another noun. And then Robert or John, whatever it is I'm replacing, that's known as an antecedent. And so when you have a pronoun must always agree with its antecedent in number and gender. Okay? Let me repeat that again. The pronoun must agree in gender or number to the antecedent. That's going to be a true and false question. True or false, okay? Then you've got two kinds of pronouns. You've got an object pronoun that comes after the verb. So anytime you have an object pronoun, so subject, verb, object. I gave him the present. Him is the object pronoun because it's the object of the sentence. So subject, verb, object. So here, object pronouns are us, him, her, them, you, me, it. And so these are all object pronouns and always come after the verb. You cannot say, me gave I money, or something like that. So always it has to be after the verb. John gave me money, he gave me money, he gave money, or it could be he gave money to me. So John gave me money or John gave money to me. That means the exact same thing. In either case, you always put the object pronoun after the verb. A subject pronoun is a pronoun that's used as a subject. So an object pronoun is a pronoun used as an object that comes after the verb. A subject pronoun is a pronoun used as a subject that comes before the verb. So that means subject pronouns always come before the verb. And so subject pronouns are stuff like I, he, she, they, we, you, it. So subject pronoun she is a great dancer. So she is a subject pronoun that comes before the verb. I gave her all my money. And so her is an object pronoun that comes after the verb. Whereas I, what is I? Is I a subject or object pronoun? Lori, you have to unmute yourself.
Sorry, my dogs keep barking. Is subject pronoun?
It's a subject pronoun. What about us? Is us a subject or object pronoun? Samuel.
Object.
Object pronoun. Why is it an object pronoun? Kelly, why is us an object pronoun? How is it being used?
Because it's after the verb.
Because it's after the verb and being used as an object. And so that's how you can tell. If it's being used as an object, it's an object pronoun. If it's being used as a subject, it's a subject pronoun. That's why we don't say, me and my friends go to the theater. How many of you have heard people talk like that? Raise your hand. Yes, yeah, I have, definitely. So you would have to say, my friends and I went to the theater, because I is one of the subject pronouns. That's why you got to remember I, he, she, they, we, you, it. So that's going to be part of your quiz. And so the apples, this is an actual quiz question. The apples spoiled due to the humid weather. What pronoun would replace apples? And so first you have to look at the sentence. Does apples come before or after the verb?
Before.
the verb. So if it comes before the verb, what kind of pronoun are we using?
They.
Subject pronoun, yes. And then the subject, the plural subject pronoun becomes they. That's how you figure it out. So they spoiled due to the humid weather. So here I did put in the answer. So they spoiled due to the weather, humid weather. Remember that pronouns replace nouns, and apples is the subject of the sentence, so it is replaced by a subject pronoun. John sent Jimmy on an errand. What pronoun would replace Jimmy? Where is Jimmy placed in the sentence, before or after the verb? Sarah?
Apple.
After the verb. So therefore, Sam, is it an object or subject pronoun?
Object pronoun?
It's an object pronoun. Which object pronoun is it?
Sense?
For Jimmy, if we want to replace Jimmy.
John's. Him?
Him, yeah. He sent him on an errand. If I wanted to replace both John and Jimmy, it would become he and him. Because if I wanted to replace John, then you have to say, is John before or after the verb? Sarah? Before. So we don't say him sent Jimmy on an errand. Most people don't talk like that. They usually say him and I or something like that. So John sent him on an errand. So that's it for subject and object pronouns. Everybody got that? We're going on to the next chapter. Okay, possessive pronouns. Possessive pronoun shows possession. So you have his, hers, theirs, ours, yours, its, mine, you. My, his, her, their, your, its. And so when you have my, his, her, their, its, that's also known as a possessive pronoun. Oh, well, anyway, so this is my book. This is mine. John's neighbor is blind. This is his Braille book. This book is his. And notice how we have an apostrophe S when we want to denote possession. We don't have just a regular S. This book is his. The dog wagged its or its tail. Which one is correct? And why is the correct answer its without the apostrophe S? That's
Because it's not a name?
Hmm?
It's not a proper name?
No, it's because what is its? It's a nice day. What does it stand for in the first place?
It is.
It is, yes. So for one thing, it wouldn't make sense to say the dog wagged its tail, for one thing. So that's how one way of making that, okay, that's not right, and therefore the answer is its. But it's because also my, his, her, their, your, its. No apostrophe S. So you just have to remember that when you are denoting something that is not male or female, you say its, okay? Especially if it's an object. Although in this case you could say his or her, but it is a nice day. So its stands for it is. It's a contraction. My car lost its rear license plate. Which one is correct? Anyone?
No apostrophe.
What? Okay.
No apostrophe.
No apostrophe. Excellent. So the answer is ITS. So my car lost its rear license mirror because we're talking about an object. So an object is not his or her. This book is yours or yours. Which one is correct?
No apostrophe.
No apostrophe. Yes, this book is yours because this is one of the possessive pronouns. Where did it go? Yeah, here it is. His, hers, theirs, ours, yours, its, mine, and you. Okay, belongs to you. Where did it go? Okay. The mayor, the mayor said that the task of cutting the budget was not hers, hers, hers. Which one is correct? Which hers is it? The first one, second one, or third one?
First.
The first one, because I wrote it here. No, I'm just kidding. So hers. So the mayor said that the task of cutting the budget was not hers. The book of his is boring. Why is it not he's? Why is he's the wrong answer?
If you said he's with an apostrophe,
Because it
that
means,
book of his is, or he is boring.
yes, so that would make no sense. The book of he is boring, is not right. So he's, like it's, stands for, is a contraction. He is a nice man. So that's what he's stands for, okay? He is. So there is a pronoun used as a possessive. This car is theirs. There is a car in the garage. Their car is red. So you cannot say there with this kind of there is a car in the garage. You can't say, and I've seen this on a gazillion essays, okay? If you think that, if you're laughing to yourself saying, nobody would make that kind of mistake, but I always have to correct this. There's a car in the garage. It becomes there is, theirs. And there is known as an expletive or expletive. And it's put in there as to show location. Okay, that's what there is for. This car is theirs. Oh my God, so many people make that mistake. And it's not correct to write theirs. You can't say this car is theirs with apostrophe S, and you can't just write theres. The correct answer is the possessive pronoun, this car is theirs, or this is their car. It has the same meaning as this is their car, or this car is theirs. Same thing. And then theirs, there is, stands for there is a car in the garage. This is not a possessive. Does everyone get it so far?
Yeah.
Is this all review? Remember learning about this when you were like really little? Except back then it was fun. Yeah, so he's, she's, it's, theirs. And so he's means he is, she means she is, it's means it is, and theirs means there is. So that's all you need to know about possessive pronouns. I went through it very fast. Is that good enough?
Yeah. And so whenever you add the apostrophe S to a name, it's just S, and then?
Well, yeah, then you would say John's neighbor, or Sarah's book, or Samuel's glasses. So usually it's someone's name or some noun. The neighbor's dog. So you would have a noun, apostrophe S, and it belongs to that person, the librarian's desk. So whatever the noun is, apostrophe S.
So like if you took the dog wagged its tail, but instead changed it, the dog's tail wagged, there would be an apostrophe with the dog, right?
Yes, correct. The dog's tail wagged. Excellent, yes. So I could add that in as a example. The dog's tail. And forever I'm going to remember that was a Sarah example when I teach future classes. So the dog's tail wagged, or the dog wagged its tail. Anything else you want added for posterity? No, okay. So that's going to be for the future classes will wonder. No, they won't wonder. Okay, so that's it for possessive pronouns. Next we're going to do demonstrative pronouns. A demonstrative pronoun shows location. So if I say this banana, so that means this banana is very close to me. This banana. I love my banana. So never mind. So this banana, then that banana. So if the banana is located far away, I would say that banana, this banana, and then if I want to say those bananas, these bananas, and people think I'm nuts. So this book means the object is near you, it's singular. That book means the object is far away from you and you're pointing, that's the person, that's the guilty party. Okay, so far away from you. And then you would have those books. Those people are the ones who are responsible for the crime. It's their fault. So when something is far away from you but plural, and here if something is close to you but plural. So that's how we use a demonstrative pronoun when we demonstrate where something is in time and space. So where is that object? Is it close to you? Is it far away from you? And you're demonstrating by using a pronoun where that object is. And so we don't say in English, their house is old. We say this house is old. We don't say that their beer is stale. We say that beer is stale. We don't say them shoes are smelly. We say these shoes are smelly. And there's another thing is them is an object pronoun. So we know that we don't put object pronouns before the verb. Object pronouns always go after the verb. Okay, so that's how we know that this is wrong. In certain parts of the country, it's very common to talk like this. And you see someone laughing, you know someone who would talk like this? Have you heard this? It depends on where you are. If you're from the South, you would have heard at least several someones talking like this. And I have many relatives who do talk like this, and and of course I don't correct them because they're my aunts and uncles. So if you're Chinese, you never correct your parents, even if they make mistakes. And this is a Southern mistake. So anyway, so we always say these shoes, those shoes, they are smelly. So you could say these shoes are smelly, those shoes are smelly, or you could say they are smelly. But you can't say that there. So students usually have no trouble getting this right on the quiz. Any other questions? No. All right. I think that we're going to do comparative and superlative, and those are the last two sections for the week 3 quiz. So when we do a comparative, we're comparing two things and only two things. John is smarter than Jan. Jan is taller than Steve. So here is just John and Jan, nobody else. Just Jan and Steve, nobody else. And when we use a comparative, we use an ER and than. Taller than, especially if it's just one syllable. It's smarter than, taller than. If it's more than one syllable, more intelligent than. So more than one syllable, Steve is more intelligent than Jack. Jack is less intelligent than Steve. So when it has more than one syllable, then we use more and less than. And then we don't say Jack is less better at math. There's no such word formation in English as less better and more better. Have you ever heard someone say that? This is less better than. Yeah, so that doesn't exist in English. I think there's a long you can Google it, but there is a long grammatical explanation as to why that is. But I just figured it's just better to tell you it just doesn't exist to make it shorter. But if you're curious, you could always Google that. That's the fun thing about Google. You can Google anything. Okay, so in your quiz, you're going to have this question. The stranger or the strangest of the two pictures featured an owl with 3 eyes. Is it stranger or strangest?
Stranger.
Stranger, because we're comparing two pictures. People get confused because they see the word 3 eyes, but that just talks about the owl. Has nothing to do with the two pictures. So the stranger of the two pictures, this is one of those trick questions, featured an owl with 3 eyes. That's why when you have a superlative, you only compare two things and only two things. However, when we have a superlative, we're comparing more than two things, such as comparing something to a group, to a person, or to the entire world. So if I say John is the smartest student in the class. So once again, one syllable, you just say smartest, dumbest, prettiest. But once you get past 2 syllables, then it becomes least intelligent, most intelligent. And so here you have EST, EST, and then we don't say more than or less than. More than and less than is for comparatives. If we're doing a superlative, we say least and most, okay? And we don't even bother with a than. We can if we want to. So John, and we're comparing John to the entire class of 25 people. We're not comparing John to just 2. It's not John and Steve. It's John and the entire class. So John is the smartest student out of the entire class. But Jack is the dumbest student out of the entire class. The Eiffel Tower is the prettiest monument in the world. So if you just have 2 syllables, you could still say I-E-S-T, okay? Then when it goes to 3 syllables, it becomes least and most. So Jack is the least intelligent student in the school. Robert is the most intelligent student in the school. So what is an antecedent? An antecedent is a noun that the pronoun replaces. And an antecedent always agrees with the pronoun. A pronoun always agrees with its antecedent. Pronouns and antecedents should agree in gender or number. That you got to remember for the quiz. So if I say true or false, so Jack is the antecedent. So Jack, he is the dumbest student in the class. So here, Jack, he, it agrees in gender. If I say Jack and Robert are the dumbest students in the class, they are very stupid, then they agree in number. So therefore, pronouns agree in number and in gender. So that's important to remember. So I think I just did this. Jack, so whatever the noun that's being replaced, that's what's called an antecedent, because that's what the pronoun is replacing. So Jack, antecedent, is a smart man. He reads books every day. Jack is the antecedent, and he is the masculine pronoun that agrees with the antecedent. The pronoun also has to agree in gender and quantity. Just remember gender and number. That's all you got to remember. So everybody got that? Before I go on to more? Yeah. Okay, so after a comparative, you have to use a subject pronoun. This is one of the only times when a subject pronoun comes after the verb. So you cannot say that Veli plays better piano than me. Okay, that's not correct. You have to say Veli plays better piano than I. This is a very common mistake. Why? Because in Old English, people used to say Veli plays better piano than I do. Okay, but somehow people got lazy and stopped saying the word do, and therefore it became Veli plays better piano than I. And that's why people think it's me, because they think that they're doing the object pronoun, and that's why this becomes me, okay? But that's not correct. So Veli plays better piano than me is incorrect. It's correct to say Veli plays better piano than I, or Veli plays better piano than I do. Jack plays worse golf than John and Jack. Jack plays worse golf than they do. Okay, so here you have they, which is also a subject pronoun. And so therefore you don't say Jack plays better golf than them. Okay, because you don't say them do. So then they do. So you have to remember that after a comparative sentence, you have to have a subject pronoun. Is that clear? Yes. How many of you have heard people say that Veli plays better piano than me? Yes, that's even more common than that there, because this I hear around the country, not just in the South, but everywhere. Everybody says it like this. I play worse golf than, well, I think you is the only one that doesn't change, because you in both object and subject pronoun is the same word, okay? So I play better piano than you do, or I play better piano than you. You is the exception, because you is the same. So that's why you're going to be quite certain they're not going to put you on the quiz, since it's the same in both of them. It's useless to ask that question. Your piano performance proved you practiced more than they did. Is the pronoun in this sentence an object or subject pronoun? So therefore, you have to be able, this is an actual quiz question, so that you have to be able to identify what pronoun is he talking about. And so they're talking about they, okay? And that's not going to be in the quiz. I mean, that's not going to be part of the, the answer's not going to be sitting there. And so what the choices are going to be, I think, A, subject pronoun, B, object pronoun. I believe that's the, let me put this down. 1, 2. Yeah, there you go. That's your quiz question. Your piano practice proved you practiced more than they did. Is the pronoun in this sentence an object or subject pronoun? So first of all, where is the pronoun? You have to first locate the pronoun. Sam, where's the pronoun? Even though the answer's right there, but I took it out. Okay, so where is the pronoun in that sentence?
They.
Yeah, you got the right answer. Yeah, you skipped a step and just went straight to the right answer. That's correct. How did you get that answer? Which one is the pronoun in that entire sentence?
Your.
Your. Yeah, that's a possessive pronoun, but I doubt but that's a possessive pronoun. Which one is the, well, they're referring to they here. It's not very clear, but here you have, this is a possessive pronoun. They're talking about subject pronoun and object pronoun. And so a subject pronoun is he, she, we, my, they. So if they were asking for which is just a pronoun, then if they had something like this, which is a pronoun, what kind of pronoun? If it was A, noun, B, verb, that kind of stuff, then I guess you could say A. But since they're asking for subject and object pronouns, they're asking is they a subject or object pronoun?
Mm.
And therefore, but you got the right answer anyway, so I just want to make sure everybody else understood why it's a subject pronoun. Everybody get that? Yeah, they're asking for it, yeah, because the subject pronoun to review is he, she, they, not us, we, and I don't know if I'm missing anything. Oh, and I, yeah. What about object pronouns? Him, her, them, us, and me. So when they ask for that kind of question, they're asking for one of these. You got to identify one of these words in the sentence, and then you got to tell them which one it is. Is that okay? Everybody got that? All right. Now we get to the fun part of the lesson. Is when there's no more answers to the questions and you just do the practice. And this is the part people really like because they think it's like a game. Okay, your piano practice proved that you practice more than they. Is the pronoun in this sentence an object or subject pronoun? We just did this.
Subject.
Subject pronoun. We could not have asked for a blank teacher in math. Which adjective or adverb completes the sentence? A or B? A, because there's no such thing as more better. True or false? Which of the following is true? Pronouns and antecedents should not agree in gender or number. Pronouns and antecedents should agree in gender or number. C, pronouns and antecedents do not relate to each other. Which one is correct?
B.
Yes. Pronouns and antecedents agree in gender or number. Number 4, William took his classes very blank and studied every day. Which adjective or adverb completes the sentence?
B.
B, yes. Because here, very seriously, because it's how he took his classes. Otherwise, if I wanted to say serious, I would put serious over here. His serious classes. Or I could even say serious William took his classes very seriously. If you want to sound like Dr. Seuss, it's still grammatically correct, but you sound like Dr. Seuss, and that's fun for kids. Kids love that kind of repetition. The clothes that Laura gave my sister and me were too small. Is the pronoun in this sentence an object or a subject pronoun? So now you've got to locate where is the object or subject pronoun in that sentence. That's step 1. And then step 2, once you locate that pronoun, is it a subject or object pronoun? So which is the answer? First, let's look at which word in that sentence is a subject or object pronoun.
Me.
Me. Now step 2, is me a subject or object pronoun?
Object.
Object pronoun. So the answer is B. Everybody got that? Yeah. So here, blank 2 movies are about life in early New England. What is the correct demonstrative pronoun? No students ever have any trouble with this one for this sentence. Is it them 2 movies are about life in early New England or those 2 movies? I've never had a student get this one wrong. Those 2 students. Yes, we don't say them 2 students. As the little boy blank snuggled the tiny kitten, the kitten purred. Which adjective or adverb completes the sentence? As the little boy, what? Is it gentle?
Gently.
Gently, yeah. You can also tell what's, for a native speaker, it just doesn't sound right to say, as the little boy gentle snuggled the tiny kitten. Of course, that doesn't help the ESL student who it all sounds the same when it's not your native language. But yes, it did gently, because here gently is an adverb that modifies the verb snuggle, or how he snuggled. So here, 8. Tara told the blank jokes I've ever heard. Which adjective or adverb completes the sentence? Is it most clever or more clever?
A, because more doesn't exist, right?
Yes.
That's how it goes?
Yes, so
Okay.
whenever you use more, that means more than means it's 2 of something. That's not correct, because basically all of the jokes you've ever heard, that means all the jokes in the world that you've ever heard, unless you've only heard 2 jokes in your entire life. Is that true? You've all heard more than 2 jokes in your life, right? Okay,
Yeah.
then it becomes superlative, and also this is a dead giveaway, the, because superlatives always use the most, not always, but the most clever person in the class is Robert. So here, most clever. A. Jack entered, nobody ever gets this one wrong either. Jack entered that dog in an obedience contest, or Jack entered their dog in an obedience contest. What is the correct demonstrative pronoun for this sentence? A or B?
A.
A, yes, that dog is correct. Which part of speech is there? Is it a noun, an adjective, or a pronoun?
Pronoun.
Pronoun, yes. He knocked on the door. What part of speech is the underlined term in this sentence? It's supposed to be underlined here. I'm not sure why it's not underlined. Bingo. So he knocked on the door. So what part of speech is the underlined term in the sentence?
The pronoun.
It's a pronoun, yeah. Okay, leave A or B keys out on the table. What is the correct demonstrative pronoun for this sentence?
B.
B. Are those seats, let's see, this can be put a little bit, I'm not going to do it. So are those seats theirs, or theirs? What is the correct possessive pronoun for this sentence?
B.
B. B, yes. Theirs, so if you want to, so it becomes, oh, I knew it, that was going to happen. Yeah, so theirs, so excellent, it's B, because it's theirs, yours, mine, ours, his, hers. Anyone need me to type that out? No, okay. Here's another one that's easy. Is it them or those?
Those.
Those. Number 15. Is it A, B, or C? Which it's is correct?
B.
B, yeah, because it's, ours, yours, his, hers. Is it they, their, or them? Which pronoun would best replace the noun apples?
They're B.
No?
They're spoiled.
Nope.
They spoiled.
They spoil, yes, because you want to, it's either a subject, here you want to use a subject pronoun because apples is the subject of the sentence, okay? So that becomes, because apples comes before the verb. So whenever you want to use a pronoun before the verb and it's not a possessive, we're not talking about your apples or his apples, okay? We want to replace the entire noun, then it becomes they. If I want to talk about how the apples belong to someone, then I'm not replacing apples, I'm replacing John and Bob own a farm. Their apples are the greatest. So I'm not replacing apples, I'm replacing John and Bob. Okay, so if I put their apples, I'm replacing some people. But if I want to replace apples and not the people, then I would use they. Is that clear? Because I could write it out. Okay, this is another easy one. Is it this here or this? For a demonstrative. This. All right. And then here you have the trick question that everybody in my other classes used to get wrong, which is why I included this. Is it stranger or strangest of 2 pictures? Stranger of 2 pictures. Now, do you want to practice more? Do you think you need more practice? Okay. The cleaner was very abrasive or abrasively?
Abrasive.
Abrasive. Excellent. He cleaned the table. Abrasive or abrasively?
Abrasively.
Abrasively. He has an abrasive or abrasively cleaner. Abrasive. The bird chirped loud or loudly?
Loudly.
Loudly. The blank bird kept me awake all night. The loud bird. Jack takes his work very...
Seriously.
I've heard people say Jack takes his work very serious. I actually heard some guy on TV, a news broadcaster who's supposed to be he's supposed to be the authority, and I said, oh wow, he makes grammar mistakes. It makes you look bad when you make grammar mistakes. John had the more handsome or most handsome clothes in the class.
Most handsome.
Most handsome. John is blank handsome than Scott. More handsome than Scott. Philip is a nice man. What part of speech is Philip?
Subject.
Subject. Philip is nice. What part of speech is nice?
Adjective.
Adjective. So this is the one time an adjective comes after the noun is when you have subject, be verb, and adjective. Subject, verb, and be verb, adjective. Simple sentence. Paul's clothes is more handsome or most handsome than John's clothes?
More handsome.
More handsome.
Wouldn't it be R?
Paul's clothes. No, because it's all about Paul. Paul is the subject.
Okay.
Yeah, it's his clothes. That there, you could be right because it's got a whatchamacallit. You're correct. Yes, you corrected the grammar teacher. That's quite an honor for a student. Is it this there or that there? Oh, I've got to correct. That means I got this from a grammar book. I've got to figure out which grammar book I got it from. That means the grammar book had a mistake. I always find it funny when a grammar book makes a mistake. But anyway, so is it that there or that? Map is out of date. Oh, I gotta look that up. That. I gotta figure out what grammar book did this. Okay, because I got all of this out of a grammar book. Shoes are old. That there or those? Those. And we already did apples. Martha bought me a car. Is me a subject or object pronoun? Object pronoun. Is Martha a subject or object pronoun?
Subject.
Subject pronoun. The clothes that Laura gave my sister and me are old. What is the pronoun in this sentence? Is it subject or object?
Object.
Yes. Yeah. She skipped a step and yeah. So, but you got it right. Me is the pronoun in the sentence and it is an object pronoun. Are these seats yours or yours? Is it the first one or the second one? The first one. These seats are not my or mine.
Mine.
Mine. Those seats are his or his.
His.
His, the first one. Professor Ho is a great instructor. We could not ask for
Better.
a better teacher. Yes. And then Professor Ho is the blank instructor in the school. Yes. Yeah, best. Jennifer is blank boss at the school. Worst boss. And yes, I did have a boss named Jennifer. So that means I always tell my bosses to be nice to me because otherwise they'll end up in one of my books as the villain. And yes, I once had a boss named Jennifer. Jennifer is, but I'm not currently though. Jennifer is a blank boss than Grace. Worse, because I have two different, and yes, I had a bad boss named Grace, though not currently. Veli plays better piano than, we did this, than I do, yes. The mother gave her or she money. Her. We did this one. The blank animal I've ever seen is a two-headed frog.
Strangest.
The strangest animal I have ever seen is a two-headed frog. And then of course these are all the answers if you do it by yourself, you see. So we don't have to go over that. And then I'm just going to go over briefly the writing process. Pre-writing is what you did in week 2. Writing is what you're going to do in week 4 when you do your rough draft. Post-writing or rewriting is what you're going to do in week 6 when you have your midterm, so that your midterm paper is your final draft. Writing is when you write your rough draft in week 4, and week 2 is what you're doing this week, pre-writing, in which you're coming up with an outline for your paper. So this week, this is going to be your outline. So this is what you would be writing. This is an example of your narrative worksheet. And so many people did not understand what is a working thesis. A working thesis is the main idea of your essay. So what is going to be the main idea of your essay? And the main idea of your essay summarizes the content of your body paragraph. Some students like to write out their entire essay first, and then they write their thesis last, because basically your thesis just summarizes what your entire essay is about. And so your working thesis means that your thesis can change as you do research. So to avoid taking a loved one for granted, one should give the loved one love, time, and appreciation. And then these 3 reasons, love, time, and appreciation, are now going to become your 3 subpoints. In other words, they're going to be your body paragraphs. So body paragraph 2 is you need to show your loved ones while they're alive, love. And then that's paragraph 2. Time becomes paragraph 3. Appreciation, paragraph 4. And so when you have a thesis statement with matching body paragraphs, that is the 5-paragraph structure. And I wrote about my mother who died of COVID the year I was hired, when I was first hired to this school. And I remember whenever I went over this, I would get very misty. So you can tell how old this is. So this is actual, we didn't know it was COVID at the time, but what happened was she simply collapsed, and we took her to the hospital, and all her organs just stopped working, and they stuck a ventilator down her whatchamacallit, and we just had no clue what that was. She just suddenly stopped eating, and we didn't know that it was COVID. This was March 3rd, 2020. It wasn't until 2 weeks later, a week after we buried her, we found out, oh, she died of COVID or something like that. So I learned from that lesson, I learned never to take my mother for granted, because my mother would call and I would say, oh, I'm really busy right now, I've got a deadline. Okay, I'll call you back later. Of course, I would forget to call back later. And so I learned from that experience, you don't take people for granted. So for me, 2020, I still miss her, Like I see a really nice dress and I want to talk to her about it and realize, oh yeah, she's not there anymore, or something like that. So here in the free writing, in the last part of the outline, you can choose free writing, mapping, brainstorming, or questioning. Free writing means you just write whatever comes to your head. Mapping or clustering is when you draw those circles and you put the main idea in the main circle, and then you put your supporting ideas in the outer circles. Same thing with brainstorming. Listing means you just make a list of whatever comes out of your head. And questioning means that you ask a bunch of questions. What do I want to know about this topic? How am I going to go about finding resources? What do I want to write about? So then you write a whole bunch of questions. So you can choose any of these kinds of pre-writing techniques in order to fill out this part of your outline. And when we do pre-writing, it helps us flesh out the topic. It helps us think about what our essay and how our outline is going to look like. And so that's basically why you would complete a pre-write exercise. So I chose this one. I chose free writing. The doctor took out my mother's ventilator too. The doctor said to my father, "There's nothing more I can do for her. Say your piece. She will not last more than an hour without the ventilator." My father approached the bed and softly touched my mother's cheek. I had never seen my father look so devastated. I said to my mother, "I love you. I am sorry for all the times I said I was too busy to talk to you on the phone. Please forgive me, Mom." Her last words were, "I am so proud of you." She never finished her sentence as she slipped peacefully into God's arms. So then that becomes the free writing. I think at the time I was so busy crying, I didn't even notice that a lot of things. So the thesis statement is to avoid taking one's loved one for granted. One should give love, appreciation, and time to one's loved one while they are alive, because one never knows how long they have on earth. And that really, when I first used to teach this lesson, that used to make me cry, because it had just happened within 2 months. So when I wrote this, anyway, so here is your topic. Most students want to choose I became a nurse because, and reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. Here are a list of reasons. Previous students, if you can't think of a reason for your essay, these are the most common reasons other students have written for their essay. So if you're just totally stuck on what to write, you can use the I want to become a nurse because. Now if you think this is way too easy for you, you want to challenge yourself, other topics to write about is a major turning point in my life was I started the Fortis program because the role model in my life is, in my case, is my mother. It's funny how you don't appreciate someone until they're gone. But anyway, I became a teacher because the 3 major life lessons in my life are blank, blank, and blank. The happiest day of my life was blank. This is the funniest one. The most embarrassing moment in my life was this came out with many funny whatchamacallits. One student wrote about he's trying to meet a girl and then his pants fell off. Yeah, so someone's laughing, but that's an actual. He didn't even realize his pants. He just said, it suddenly felt cold down there. I couldn't figure out why, and I couldn't figure out why some people were laughing. It took him a couple of seconds to realize his pants had come down. But she ended up marrying him because he was so sincere, and he tried so hard. She could tell he was trying so hard, his pants fell off. So this is a funny one. So someone told this one. The most embarrassing moment was when blank blank, and then the life. Then you have to write what life lessons you learn. Okay, and that's it. And you don't have to. I already went over the week 3 forum. Most people just simply stop watching after I've gone over the quiz, because that's the main thrust of this lecture is about the quiz. You can read the rest of this yourself, where I talk about the parts of an introduction paragraph, parts of a conclusion paragraph, what body paragraphs look like, what a conclusion paragraph looks like, and that's about it. I'll let you read the rest of it, and then you can, but do you have any questions?
I have one about last week's quiz. I couldn't retake it. I don't know if I passed it. God, because I studied for the other day.
Don't say the grade, because you're being recorded, and then this is going to be
be
on YouTube. So you don't have to tell me your exact grade. So I will have you retake the quiz. Is that what you want?
If I could retake it.
Oh, okay.
I get the passing score, just not the score that I want.
Yeah, and don't say the number, because it's got to do with all kinds of privacy laws and stuff like that. Otherwise, I have to delete this part of the essay. 'Cause I remember one student said, and I got a blank. He actually said it out loud to everybody, and then I had to delete that part of the. So it looks like a hiccup when people watch it, But that's okay. When somebody does that, they don't know any better. Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question about the outline for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Like if to use your example, I want to be a nurse because of these 3 reasons. How much do I expand on them in the outline?
In the outline, you just have to write down what your 3 reasons are, and then make sure that each paragraph has 5 to 7 sentences. So you would expand.
So in the outline, though, it's just 1 sentence?
Yeah, in the outline, you don't have to expand it to 5 to 7 sentences. But when you write out your rough draft, you're going to write 5 to 7 sentences.
Okay.
And that will be, the rough draft is in week 4?
Week 2. That's this week. Yeah, pre-writing is week 2. Then
I
writing.
thought this was the outline.
This is the outline. The outline is pre-writing. You're gonna. In other words, the pre-writing part has several steps. You come up with a thesis statement. You come up with your topic. You come up with a topic, thesis statement. Then you come up with reasons for your thesis statement, and then you write your outline. And then stop. Pre-writing. That's pre-writing. in it. Then the next one in week 4, you're going to transform your outline into a rough draft, into a 5-paragraph rough. That's in week 4. So so that your essay 1 and essay 2 will both follow the writing process. So that's because that's the most current way that everybody teaches writing. So my other school does exactly the same thing. So I'm not going to say, they also go through 3 weeks of, for them it's 1, 3, and 5. For you it's 2, 4, and 6. Oh, I shouldn't confuse the 2 schools. Yeah. So anyway, so it's week 2, week 4, week 6. My other school is the other way around with odd numbers. You guys are even numbers. But basically this week you're going to write your outline, and what topic are you going to use? You're going to use the I became a nurse. And then you could choose any 3 reasons, or you can have your own 3 reasons. It doesn't even have to be on that list. That list is just to give an example. And also, you can also Google benefits of nursing to find even more reasons, if you want to use that one. So, yes.
So like if you did the option, like this person is my role model because this reason, this reason, and this reason. And then
Yeah, you could tell 3 different stories. This person is my role model because she worked 3 jobs. She always had time for me to help me with my homework, and she never complained about giving up her food so that we could get something to eat. That becomes 3 different stories. This is known as a multi-story narrative essay. So the first one would be about she never complained that she's got to work 2 full-time jobs just to put very little food on the table. This would be my grandmother, but not my mother. And this is the story my father would tell. When I was little, we had nothing to eat, literally. So yeah. So that's the stories that he would tell. We didn't even have a school bus. You people are complaining about waiting outside in the snow on the school bus. We had to walk 5 miles to school. We didn't have a school bus or something like that. In my country, you have to pay for that. And then we didn't have the money for that, so we had to walk to school, that kind of stuff. So yeah, and it's true, he did. And when I looked it up, at first I thought my father was just exaggerating, but obviously not. So basically, yeah, so you would write 3 different reasons and then write 3 different little mini stories, 5 to 7 sentences each about your reasons. That's known as a multi-story narrative essay. Another kind of narrative essay is if you just write one whole story, but then you have to write the moral of the story as your thesis statement. Okay, so I teach that in future lessons. What is a narrative essay? I'm going to send it out to you. This lesson is mainly about your week 3 quiz. So that's why that took up most of the time. And then I'm going to do writing next time. So is everybody clear on everything for the week 3 quiz? Okay. So, and if you want to retake the quiz, you have to email me, okay? And I can't discuss grades over the internet and stuff. If you want to discuss grades with me, you can always email me privately, and then we would discuss grades that way, okay? Any other questions? No? Okay, then I'll see you all next week. I can't remember off the top of, I think next week I'm going to be doing what is peer review, because your other week 5, week 7, week 9, your remaining forums are all going to be peer review forums. You see, so that's not as interesting as the quiz, but unless you want me to make a quiz about it. No, okay. So I'll see you all next week, and you have a great weekend, okay?